In this tutorial, we're going to give you an overview of the clipart that's included with your VCarve Pro and VCarve Desktop software. We're going to show you the various ways to install them, where they're located on your PC, and a guide on how to import and load them into your software. Now, VCarve includes over $2,000 worth of 2D and 3D clipart for you to use in your projects. This clipart comes in a format that allows you to use your content with Aspire at some point if you choose to upgrade. Now, there are 3 ways to get your free clipart installed and available within your software. You can install it directly from the installation media you may have received from Vectric. You can install it from your V&Co account, or you can do it from within the software itself. Now, if you have a product installation USB, you can simply install your clipart and all of your content will be available in your clipart browser the next time you open up your software. And if you don't have an installation USB, that's not a problem at all. When you purchase your product, you'll be invited to V&Co, and this is where you can access your license details, the installers for your software, along with your free clipart and project files. Now you'll need to go over to portal.vectric.com to log in, and to log in you'll need your email address and your password, and once you sign in and verify your email address, then you'll have access to everything that V&Co has to offer. Now to start with, you'll be presented with the download option to download any of your software, your upgrades that you're entitled to, and any clipart that you have on your account as well. You'll also see there's a section for our free projects that you can browse through. You can look at things that we're up to on design and make. You can look at some tips and tricks and also what we're up to in the near future. But if we click on download, you can have a look at your license. Now you can see there's a 1 next to some of our license here. That means you're due an upgrade or you're eligible for an upgrade. But this is where you can download your software installers and view your license information on your account as well. Now if you click on that, you'll see that all the installers that we're eligible for, and you can see that we've got our products installer at the top here, and we've also got all the clipart that we have available to us as well. Now, if we click on our clipart pack to download it, we can store that somewhere safe, so perhaps in our downloads folder, so we know where it is for later, so we can then go ahead and install our clipart. Then you'll see if I click on the bottom left-hand corner there where my download was, I'll start installing my clipart. And then you'll be presented with the clipart setup wizard, and you can go through the license and hit agree after reading it. And once your clipart is installed, you can click finish and it will now be available for you to use in your software. Now, if you choose not to download and install your clipart from either your USB drive or online through your V&Co account, then you can always do it through your software in your clipart tab. Now, if you have a look over here at the top here, where my mouse pointer is, you have your clipart folder, and then you have all the different groups of clipart here. So for example, if I click on my borders, you'll notice that at the bottom of the screen here, this will now display anything that is in the borders folder, and that is located on my PC. You can see here at the moment, if I hover over the borders, it's got the location of where this clipart is stored on my PC after I've downloaded and installed it. Similarly, if I click on decorative, you can see here that I've got all of the decorative clipart that I've downloaded on my PC. It's all displayed nice and clearly below here, and you've got the names displayed clearly above here for your folders. Now, if we come up to our clipart here, if you can see just above it, there's a cloud button and a refresh button. Now, what this will actually do is if I click on this, it will show me any of the clipart that I am eligible for that is actually sat on my account. Now, right now it's showing all the clipart that I have here, and that's because I have downloaded and installed all these. But if I come up to my 3D tabs, if I click on the cloud now, you'll see it's showing me any of the clipart that I'm entitled to that is actually on my account. So I can go ahead and now download these, and that's represented by that little download symbol next to the clipart here in the bottom right hand corner of it. Now it's important to note here that to download these I must have a internet connection, and for it to recognize any of the clipart that is available on my account, because it will need an internet connection to do that. But there's a couple of different ways you can go ahead and now download these clipart files, and one of which is to actually go ahead and right click on that file and click download. Now you'll notice I've got a prompt here that says login not logged in. Now this will prompt me to actually log in to the V&Co portal with my account details and my password, so I can now access and download that clipart. So let's go ahead and click the login and refresh button. And then what you'll see is that with your browser, it will pop up to our login page or the V&Co login page where you can enter your email and your password. And then when you are logged in, you'll be asked to allow the website to talk with the software. So let's just go ahead and click allow. And now that you'll see that the software has spoken to the website or your V&Co account, and now you have successfully linked your software with your V&Co account, and you can see in the background here it's refreshed our Clipart for us. So let's close down our browser, and now we can move on to the next part of our demonstration. And you'll see now that if I go into my 3D tabs, the truncated tab that we had earlier has now been downloaded. It no longer has that download symbol next to it. Now, of course, you can see the other ones here do, but that's because I haven't chosen to download those yet. But the one I chose earlier has been downloaded. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a couple of different ways that you could download the Clipart into your software. Now that we're logged in, we can actually just go ahead and click on one of these that has the download symbol next to it and just drag it into the software. And what will happen is the software will download it. As you might have seen, there was a little green arrow indicating it was downloading. And there it is. There is our Clipart now in our software for us to use. And then finally, let's say you would like to download an entire pack of Clipart. So let's say you wanted to download all of the domes and dishes you had available on your V&Co account. Well, you could simply just come over and right click on this and click download, and that will actually download all of the domes and dishes that you have available on your V&Co account as a pack. Now, it's important to note that no matter which methodology you use to download and install your Clipart, it will always be found on your PC at the following location, which is the C drive, users, public documents, Vectric, and Clipart. And you'll find that any of the packs that you have downloaded will be displayed here. So you can see right now I've got all these packs displayed here because I've downloaded these. So for example, if I go into animals, you'll see that I have all the Clipart here for the animals that I've downloaded from my V&Co account, ready to use within the software. Now, let's just take a second and discuss that how we can actually get our Clipart into our job in the background here. So right now you can see I've got the animals Clipart folder location open. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on one of these. So I'm going to choose a wading moose here. I'm going to click on this and hold down my left click and drag it into the background onto our software here. And if I minimize this Windows Explorer window, you'll see I now have the Clipart within the software. Now, if I just delete that out, I can show you another way of doing it. If we pop over to our modeling tab, we can choose import a component or 3D model. And if we click on that, I can open up the location again for my public documents, Vectric files, Clipart animals. And I'm just going to right click in this folder, change the view to large icons so you can see which Clipart you have represented by the symbol or the icon for it. And this time I'm actually going to choose the bass here. I'm just going to click on this and you'll see that it's imported it now into our software for us as well. But let's just delete that and have a look at a final way of bringing in our Clipart, which is one you may be familiar with from earlier on in our tutorial, which is to simply go over to the Clipart tab, choose the pack that you would like to use, and then just to click on the Clipart that you would like and just drag it over to your worksheet and drop it in there. And there we are. There is our Clipart ready to use. Now, let's say you've downloaded a file temporarily to your downloads folder and you want to access your Clipart from there. Well, you still can. What you can actually do is you can go up to the local files option at the top here. So if you click on this tab and you can navigate to the folder that your Clipart is in. You can see here, press the plus symbol next to C here. I've gone down to public documents, Vectric files, Clipart, and I've got my animals folder just here, and I can drag that in from here now. So for example, if I just delete out this horse for the moment, I'll just drag this in, and there we are. So you can drag it in that way as well from a local file location. Now, I know I've shown you it from our Clipart location on my PC, but for example, you could just go from your local files to C downloads, and you could get your file from there, for example. So I hope that gives you a plethora of options that you can use to import your Clipart. Now, some of the designs that come in the software actually come in 3 different forms. And the best way to show you this is if I tile my views vertically by clicking the button at the top right here. And I'm just going to make sure that I drag in some of these 3D clip art. So I'm just going to click on the bass here, bring it in just about there. Just going to bring it down just ever so slightly so the fin's not touching the edge. There we are, and you can see it's raised from our modeling plane there. So this is actually raised up from our modeling plane. Let's just reset our view back down. And I'll bring the second version here, the type B. Now this is actually in a smooth dish. You can see it's got a smooth dish here. Now there is actually a video we've got on our website on how to create clip art within a dish like this. And if you would like to know more about that, that'll be in the link below for you. But let's just size that down a little bit so we can get our final design in. I'm just going to click on this point here and just drag that down just a little bit. I'll do the same with the top one as well, just so they look roughly the same. And finally, I'll bring in our third design, which is a carved recess. Now, that looks more like a hand-carved kind of look there. You can see around the edge of the bass here. If I just drag that back onto our worksheet a little bit, I'll just size it down just a little bit. And there we are. You can see there, you've got that almost hand-carved looking finish there on this bass. Now, if I come across to my modeling tab, and if I add in a 0 plane here, and if I come up to the view, and I'm going to turn the modeling plane off, that'll just make it a bit clearer for us to see what's going on here. So if I just zoom in a little bit, you'll see that you've got your design A here, which is raised above the plane. You've got your design B, which is in the dish here, and it's meeting the curves of the dish itself. And you've got the final one, which is your C, which is in our carved recess here as well. Okay, so with that example done, let's just go back down on our view here, and we're just going to delete those out and have a look at some other examples in the software. So if we pop back over to our clip art tab, we're going to come down, scroll down on the top here in our library folders, and we're going to come down to our weaves over here. And you'll notice that with our weaves, we have, after each one, we have the letter I. So you've got I here, then you've got weave 11 with 2 I's, and then weave 11 with 3 I's. Or you can call these 1, 2, and 3 if that's easier as well. And let's just have a look at some of these in our software as well. So if I just drag in the first weave, I'm just going to pop that in the left hand corner, but I'm also going to size it down just a little bit so we can make sure we can get all 3 weaves that we're going to look at onto our worksheet. There we are. Let's just move that down just a tad. And I'll pull in weave 2 or weave II. And let's just scale that down just a little bit as well. But we want it clear in our view here because we're going to illustrate the differences between them. And we'll bring in our final one, weave 12 number 3. And let's just scale that down as well. And you can clearly see the differences between these when you look on our 3D view here. You can see that the first one has more of a domed kind of smooth curve to it here. And this one has a more of a flat beveled edge on number 2 here. And the third one has more of a ribbon look to it. And this is a great way you can see some of the differences by just dragging and dropping the clip art into your software to have a look at what they look like and what they may potentially look like when you come to cut them later on. So this is a great little view you've got here to try and preview what you would like to cut out later on. So you know that if you'd like more of a smoother finish, you may want to go for the weave in the top left, for example. But let's just zoom back down on our view. And that concludes our tutorial on the clip art guide. Now, once you've chosen and installed or downloaded and installed the clip art that you would like, I would highly recommend that you take a look through those and explore all the different options that you have, because that will certainly help you learn the software quicker and easier, but also it should add to your projects in the end. And be sure to check out our other videos because we do make use of some of the great clip art we have available to make some great designs. Thank you as always for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.